Well, we have had a response from this delegation from the European Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee. They've asked for an explanation from the Tunisian authorities because the letter that was sent by the Tunisian government to the EU embassy in Tunis doesn't really specify the reason why they are blocking the MEPs from coming in. At least it's unclear. Now, in their statement, the Foreign Affairs Committee says this conduct is unprecedented since the democratic revolution in 2011. So this was supposed to be a group of 5 MEPs from different political parties led by German MEP Michael Gahler. They were coming in. They say that they were trying to have meetings with the Tunisian government, but they were rebuffed. And so they were instead meeting with civil society, people on the ground. And that meeting was supposed to take place today. Now, the timing of this rejection may have something to do with a debate that happened in the European Parliament on Tuesday in Strasbourg. It was a fiery debate specifically about this deal that was struck in July between the European Union and Tunisia to pay Tunisia 700 million euros in exchange for stopping boats going across the Mediterranean, using Tunisia as a disembarkation point. And that has been incredibly controversial. A lot of MEPs on the left were heavily criticizing the deal and heavily criticizing the regime of Tunisian President President Saied, which he has been accused of human rights violations, rule of law dismantling, not just for his own Tunisian citizens, but also for the sub-Saharan Africans who are increasingly using Tunisia as a departure point to go into the European Union. Some of the MEPs that were due to go on the trip also had a press conference in July after that deal was struck, criticizing it. That deal was struck when European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and the far-right Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni, went over to Tunisia, met with Saied. It was seen as giving his regime the kind of blessing of the European Union, some respectability. It's come in for a lot of criticism, and this latest incident will probably only increase that criticism.
Yesterday, Dave, the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen gave her State of the European Union address, and one of the things she spoke about in order to fix the migration problem within the EU is to go after trafficking networks. But that seems to be only a part of the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this has the potential to be politically embarrassing for President von der Leyen. In yesterday's State of the Union speech to the European Parliament, she heralded the Tunisian deal as something that was helping fix what she called Europe's broken migration system, implying that the deal should be repeated with other countries. And so this action by the Tunisian government would seem to lend credence to the critics of that deal, who say that the Tunisian government doesn't adhere to the rule of law and doesn't adhere to democratic norms. But this has been a hugely controversial subject because a lot of the impetus right now is to stop the boats from coming from North Africa. And that does mean entering into these deals with countries like Libya, countries like Tunisia, in Europe. Now, during the speech yesterday by President von der Leyen, she did hit migration pretty hard. This has been a pretty big theme with her center-right political party, the European People's Party, and we do have the EU elections coming up next June, and we are definitely going into campaign season here. This issue of migration is a very, very intense one. The center-right, of which Ursula von der Leyen is a part, is really placing this at the center of their campaigning so far. So it'll be interesting to see as if we get more incidents like this from the Tunisian government and from other governments in North Africa, how the left, how MEPs on the center left will respond to that.
Dave, thank you very much for that. Dave Keating reporting there for us from